Welcome, folks. So thank you guys for joining us. It's noon, and I know that we said that the webinar starts at noon, but we've only got 3 people who have shown up for the party so far, and we've got about 30 people registered. So we're going to give folks a couple of minutes to join us, but in the meantime, I have just an icebreaker question for you guys. So I'm interested in seeing who's willing to play with me. Katie, are you willing to play with me?
Of course.
Okay, so the question of the day is, if you were a candy, what kind of candy would you be and why? What kind of candy would you be, Katie?
I know I told you this and I was ill prepared to actually answer, so I need to be a little thoughtful. I would say a Kit Kat, not for really any particular reason other than that was the name my dad, it was like my childhood nickname.
Well, that makes sense. So, Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. So I've always felt like a little special on Halloween when I get a Kit Kat. It's like nice. My candy. What would you be, Lisa?
Okay, so this is, people get to see a little slice of Lisa behind the curtain. I think I would be a Sour Patch Kid.
Oh no.
Right? Because when you put it in your mouth, you're like, I like it, even though it's tart, it's still strangely satisfying. Like
it's sour and then you're so sweet.
that's I think I would be a Sour Patch Kid is what I would be. Who wants to play along with us? Who wants to share with us, if you were a candy, what kind of candy would you be and why?
Lisa, you stole my answer. I would also be a Sour Patch Kid because I'm very sweet, but I'm sour. That's what my family always tells me. I'm a Sour Patch Kid. So,
you know, then we should be friends.
There you go. Yeah. Have a lot in common already.
Nice. Anyone else want to play?
I think folks just hopped on, so they may need a refresher on the question.
So yeah, we're just letting folks, we're giving folks a couple of minutes. We've got about 30 people registered and only 4 of you guys have joined us thus far. So we thought we would get started with just an icebreaker, kind of a fun question. And so the question is, if you were a candy, what kind of candy would you be and why? So some of the answers we've heard so far, Katie said she would be a Kit Kat because that was like her childhood name because she's Katie. Both me and Zinnia said that we would be Sour Patch Kids because we're both sugar and spice and everything nice. What about you, Lori? Do you want to play? What would you be?
Oh, I don't know. That's difficult. I haven't had candy in a long, long time. I ate too much candy before. I liked it all. I liked, I don't know what I would be.
Okay.
Yeah, let me think about that.
Fair enough, fair enough.
This is Kanisha. Honestly, I would say, because I have sensitive teeth, so candy hurts my teeth, so I don't eat it often. But the last thing I had was an Airhead mystery flavor. So I'm going to go with Airhead mystery flavor, so it could be a surprise any day.
Well, that tells us something about you, Kanisha, though, because you're adventurous, right? Like mystery flavor, you don't know what you're going to get. You could get black licorice and you'd have to live with it.
So true.
Right? So thanks for playing.
Yes.
All right, well, it's 12:05. I want to respect your guys' time, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, I see somebody who has an iPhone said Jolly Ranchers, but I don't know. If you have an iPhone, you have to rename yourself so that we know who that describes. So let me give you a quick tutorial. We usually do this and we've kind of taken it out of the rotation, huh, Miss Katie? Maybe we should put it back. But if you don't know how to rename yourself, you just go to the 3 little dots that are on the top right-hand corner of your video box, and it'll give you the option to kind of rename yourself. If you do that, then we can merge your phone with the video. Katie will take care of that on the back end, and then everyone will know who is participating. Okay, so with that, I would like to say welcome and thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon on Hump Day to learn a little bit about one of the resources that we have put together on your behalf for the Maternal Health Network of San Bernardino. Okay, so this webinar is focused on the objective that has to do with training for our workforce. And that includes everyone throughout the Maternal Health Network. You guys might recall that we identified 3 topics of interest where we felt like the workforce could really benefit from, and that included cultural competence service delivery, implicit bias, and social determinants of health. So one of the things that we want to do for you is we want to provide you guys with some information about kind of that strategy, just to get you guys centered and grounded in the information we're going to share with you. We're going to provide you guys with a preliminary list of trainers that we have found for each of those 3 priority topics. And then we're going to ask for some information from you guys, like we always do, right? We give you guys a little bit, but then we also want to receive from you guys. This is a give and take relationship that we have with each other. We're going to give you some information about resources, and we're going to say, did we miss anything? And if so, please tell us what we missed so that we can make this resource as comprehensive as possible. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to navigate where you can find information about trainings that are occurring throughout the region, and then how you can actually participate in that. So those are our objectives for the next hour that we're going to spend together. So just to get folks grounded, we want to give you guys a reminder of why we're even doing this. So it's part of our strategic plan is to increase provider capacity through targeted trainings, which include those 3 topic areas that I just described. So implicit bias, culturally competent service delivery, as well as social determinants of health. So throughout our strategic planning process, folks identified like that the workforce needs to be equipped with these kind of trainings so that they can provide high quality services that were responsive to all families and their needs, correct? And so when we went through the action planning process, we asked you guys, well, how best can we make sure that people are equipped with this kind of training as they provide services throughout the maternal health system? And you guys came up with 3 strategies. And so the first strategy really is about, well, we want to understand what speakers exist so that from an organizational perspective, we already know who to go to, right? We want to make it easy for you guys to be able to find these kind of trainings with the resources that are available throughout Southern California. So that was the first thing that you guys said. It would be really helpful if the Maternal Health Network could gather a compendium of training resources and to give us the information about where to go for these kind of trainings so that our organization can support the entire workforce. The second thing that you guys said was important was that it would be really nice if our partners are providing this kind of training and they have some additional slots that we could participate in. It would be nice to know that and to know how we can actually access this. So an example of this would be, and I'm going to use Lori as an example because Lori, you're the top person on my screen right now in this Zoom reality, right? So Lori, at the, they actually provide a whole, like a ongoing training series every week through the Inland Empire Breastfeeding Collaborative. And so she might say, well, yeah, we have training and it's able to support 100 participants and we've only have 60 employees or 60 members who are interested. So we have 40 slots that essentially our partners could benefit from. And so she would let us know, like, yes, we're doing a training on this particular topic. Here's the amount of slots that are available for community partners. And yes, there is a cost share component of it, or no, there isn't. And then we would take that information and we would put it on the website, on the Maternal Health Network website, so that folks could both know what's going on and what training opportunities exist for them. So that's the second thing that you guys said would be really useful. And I really love that strategy because it leverages what's already occurring, right? So one of the key tenets of the maternal health network is not just to like contribute more resources into the system, but really figuring out how to leverage the existing resources and get the maximum benefit of it. And so that particular strategy does that really, really well. And then the third thing that you guys said would be useful is it would be really nice if we just knew that there was going to be an annual training on each of these topics. So if we have new hires and we don't have the organizational budget to support ongoing trainings, we're not able to identify like a partner agency who we could leverage their trainings. We always know that in the back of our mind that there's an annual training that's hosted by the Maternal Health Network that we could send our existing staff to for refreshers, or our new staff to really root them in this knowledge as they provide services throughout the system. So with that, this webinar is intended to forward these particular activities by addressing some of them directly, and then asking you guys for information about how we do some other components of this in a way that makes the most sense for the network. So before I move on to kind of the very first activity, are there any questions that folks have in regards to this particular strategy or the information that we're sharing today that you would like for us to make sure that we answer through the course of our time together? If so, please feel free to drop that in the chat. Okay, I'm not seeing anything come up, but maybe they will as I go along. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to do is to go over the training resources that we've been able to identify in the Southern California region. And so we have identified 18 different training, actually I think 19. I think we had a last minute addition, didn't we, Miss Katie? So we have 19 resources to share with you guys. And I'm just going to quickly go through each of these. These were people who were either identified by the network. So you guys might remember throughout our action planning process, we actually asked this of you. We've also kind of sent out follow-up, email requests. Do you guys know of anybody? We did some internet research. So we've kind of taken information from a variety of different areas to populate this resource compendium. As I go through here, I just want you guys to take note because there's going to be a test at the end of our time together. Not really a test, but we're going to ask you like, okay, if you had to prioritize any of these trainers that you've actually like seen or you've heard good things about, we're going to ask you to tell us that at the close of our time together. And so I just want to pre-frame you guys so that when you're looking at this, you can kind of be thinking about that when we call the question a little bit later on. Okay, so 18 resources. Again, the 3 different topics of interest for us are implicit bias, culturally competent service delivery, and social determinants of health. And so what we've done is I'm providing you guys with just the resource and what areas of training that they offer. We're gonna follow up, and actually maybe could you drop, Katie, the actual hard copy of this into the chat so that folks have access to it? The hard copy version actually has their the link to either their email or the website that will give you more information about each of these resources. Okay, so first one, the Office of Equity and Inclusion actually is attached to the San Bernardino County Department of Behavioral Health. And so they provide trainings in each of the 3 categories. The second one, Dr. Saida Pepra, which you guys might recall, actually, we have already provided a training with Dr. Pepra as a component of our action planning process this year. And she does implicit bias as well as cultural competency trainings. This is one where we had a lot of feedback from folks who did participate in our action planning that she was so good that they wish they had more of Dr. Pepra. We have Dr. Ivor Wellner, and he, as well as his colleague, Dr. Wendy Ashley, are both from Cal State Northridge. We have Jan Marie Garcia, which is with UC Davis. And then March of Dimes actually hosts a whole variety of different kinds of trainings, and they have multiple trainers. We're in the process of trying to get more detailed information. So I offer this to you to say, they're a good resource. We're trying to get more specifics because they not only have internal resources to provide trainings, but they also contract out with external providers. We just haven't been able to gather that detailed information from them just yet. So we're just giving you a heads up, but we are on it in terms of gathering some additional information. Okay, moving right along, we have Rachel Hardiman with Diversity Science. We have Dr. Corey Jackson with CART, the Center Against Racism and Trauma. He's doing a lot of work right now in San Bernardino County, and I've heard really good things about him. We have Compass Point, which is a consulting firm out of the Bay Area, but they serve the whole entire state, actually the Western United States. We have, Eugene Schneeberg. How did I do, Katie?
You did good.
And Katie, this was our last minute addition. So Katie got the opportunity to hear from him. And just give me like a tidbit, Katie, of what you shared with me before folks joined in, because Katie said he was great. Yes, Katie?
He was great. So he is doing a training with the Inland Empire Fatherhood Involvement Coalition, which is a training that is on our provider calendar, which you'll see in a little bit. But Eugene talked about implicit bias specific to fathers and how negative biases can actually create a negative feedback loop for engagement. And so his expertise goes beyond fatherhood engagement, but obviously that was the scope he was working within. And it was just really approachable and collaborative. So it was a great training.
That's great. Thank you, Ms. Katie. That was our last minute addition for you guys. Okay, moving on, we've got the Office of Campus Community Relations at UC Davis. We also have Kimberly Seals-Allers, and she's with the Earth app. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, is this a typo? No, it's not. I thought, is it supposed to be birth? No, it actually is IRTH. And I'll just tell you guys this, like while she offers this particular training, if you just Google that, there's a whole host of resources available through this particular resource. Okay, we have Monica McLemore from UC San Francisco. We have a couple of her colleagues as well. Moving on, we have Monica, she's there twice. This is another one. Ifeanwa Asioduis. If somebody knows how to pronounce that name, I would appreciate an assist so that I don't do that 2 times.
Ifenwa. Her first name is Ifenwa.
Ifenwa.
I want to say the last name is Asiado.
Asiado.
I think you're right.
Ifenwa Asiado. It's a beautiful name. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And she is with UC San Francisco. We have Dr. Karen Scott with UC San Francisco as well. We have a Winona Valentine from iDream for Racial Health Equity, Arissa Palmer from Breastfeed LA, and then we also received this resource, Arquella Hargrove. Now she's actually out of Texas, but she frequently provides trainings in Southern California, and because of that, we thought she was a good resource to include. Now, one that I'm going to give kind of an honorable mention to, that is listed if you've had the opportunity to take a look at the document that we put in the chat. We did include Barry Knight with Impact Company. And so he's somebody that was recommended to us when we were initially looking at doing the asset framing work that we did at our action funding kickoff. And so he does a lot around leadership. And when I spoke to him, he is able to actually customize and infuse a lens to a particular topic. And so we didn't think that we should include him in the PowerPoint, but we wanted to give him an honorable mention and then include him in the resource compendium because we had so many people actually recommend him for these kinds of trainings. Okay. So that's my part of giving to you guys. And now we come to the part of our webinar where we ask you guys to give to us. So The question that I have for you is that, have you guys attended a training within one of the 3 topic areas? And as a reminder, that's implicit bias, culturally competent service delivery, or social determinants of health, from a trainer that we did not list today. And so I wish we had the Jeopardy music. Maybe we should try to find that track for future webinars, Miss Katie, but let's just pretend that we can hear the Jeopardy music in the background, give folks maybe about 30 seconds to think about this. And then if you have a suggested trainer on one of these 3 topics that we didn't include, please put it in the chat. And if you can't remember all of their contact information, we can reach out back to you and then gather that, or we can do some sleuthing of our own. So let's give folks just a couple of seconds to think about this and see if anything pops up for us.
I would like to mention Nikita Fields. Did you have her on there?
No.
Okay.
And can you recall, Pat, if she provides a particular kind of training, or would you like us to reach out and just find out from her?
I think she would do probably cultural competency.
Okay, and it's Nikita, Nikata.
Isn't it, Lori, is it N-E-Y?
Nakia, just a minute, Nakeya Fields.
Fields. Did I get it right? I put it in the chat.
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking
San
for.
Gabriel, I think.
Yeah, yes.
Perfect.
Pasadena area, San Gabriel area, yes.
Sure.
But she's from the Inland Empire, so she knows it.
Nice. So she has, she has context.
Mhm.
Very helpful. Thank you, Lori and Pat. Anybody else have any folks? And this is not a going, gone. So if you guys think about this, later on in the day, or when you get, those emails that Katie often sends out, you want to send us some more information, please feel free to do so. We will consistently update this resource for you guys. Okay, well, where can you find this information? That's going to be the second question that I think folks have, Miss Katie. And so I'm going to let Miss Katie tell you guys where to find it.
Sure. So this is all on the website, and we're so proud of this. I know a lot of folks with us today were on the website launch webinar. So this is going to be really a review of how to navigate the website and really gain all of the great information we host there. So as the PowerPoint slide shows, we have an events and resources component of the website, and there are 3 drop downs, 3 separate pages that you can access on that particular section of the website. The first are community events, and these are events that are open to anyone. It's not provider specific. It's something that your organization is hosting that anyone's welcome to. If we get information about national events or trainings in this virtual environment, we've been plugging in those events on the community calendar because we know folks don't have to travel to go participate in something like that. And so think about, that's really the broad bucket of events that we as the Maternal Health Network can support promotion of, as well as you can go in and say, I have some professional development time, I need some continuing education, or I'm interested in learning about something, I'm going to go there. Now, for specific provider trainings, where you would probably get those CEUs or topics that are really provider specific, you're going to go to that second dropdown, which are provider trainings. Now, Miss Lori, your Inland Empire Breastfeeding Coalition events are on that section. So it's really about the provider trainings piece of it, trying to equip providers in continuing service delivery improvement, as well as just connections with other providers. Now, we're going to focus really more on that section today of the website, but I want you to know that there are 3 kind of components of this big bucket of things that the Maternal Health Network wanted to share. The last one are just resources, and that's where videos like these trainings are going to be held. We also just developed a social media kit for PEI That's where that's going to be held. So really MHN specific resources that we've developed for providers are going to be held in that third bucket. Now, Lisa, I think I can go ahead and share my screen and we can dig a little deeper into what this will look like. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay? Oh.
Not yet.
It just says that you started sharing your screen, Katie, but it's black.
Yeah, it looks like I'm frozen too. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can see you. Do you want me, if you want to stop sharing your screen, I can share mine. My internet may be a little bit more stable.
Yeah, I'm happy to, although I'm pressing the stop share button continuously and it is not stopping to share.
Okay.
So let's give it, I have the little blue. Okay.
All right. So let me start sharing mine. You'll just give me pointers. We're going to keep our knees bent here, Miss Katie.
That works.
Where you would like me to navigate on the website. I imagine we're going to go to events and resources.
You're so smart. Yes, we're going to go right to the events and resources and you're going to hover over provider trainings and go ahead and click there. So this is the process you would use if you're accessing the website. You're going to see there's just a brief overview to reorient you to the page and the information that you're going to be accessing. There's a little submit here button that says if your organization is hosting a provider training. So if it doesn't have to be specific to the 3 topics we're talking about today, which are cultural competency, social determinants of health, and implicit bias. But if you have a training that's open to providers, send it our way, either via email or by clicking this button here, and we'll post it and promote it on your behalf. And now you'll see this calendar. And at first it looks a little blank. And this is intentional, is we expect this calendar to really fill up with resources. And so if you are looking at, Lisa, if you want to go ahead and click on, oh.
I know, there we go, sorry.
There we go. That's okay. So if you want to go ahead and click on today, so the 24th, and you will see, let's click on the 1 p.m. So this was the implicit bias training hosted by the Inland Empire Fatherhood Involvement Coalition. You'd click on the resource, and what you're really going to need to do is understand what days do you have time to attend something? Where's your free time at? So if I were to say I have an hour here, I'm going to click on the 24th. Oh, this event looks great. And what we do is we got information about the event. We copy and paste a little blurb about the event with the title, and then we link to the registration. So all you have to do is determine, yes, I'm interested, and I click on that link, and I will be able to go ahead and register myself for that event. And so what we, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, the good news is as a fail-safe, we always upload the flyer. But I think that we'll have to be nimble here in that we always want to be responsive to you guys. So if you're on the website and you say, hey, I'm really interested in this event, I can't access it, you can use the Get Involved button at the top of the website, or you can email myself and Lisa directly and we will get it resolved. Like this one. What a great test, Lisa. So I'm hoping everyone feels a little bit oriented to the calendar. You'll see at the top next to March 2021, there's a little arrow. You can go and click forward to the next month and the next month after that. So here's what we're going to do now. We are going to have you test out some of the website yourself. So I see Lisa just put the link in the chat. Lisa, if you want to pull up the PowerPoint, Lisa so kindly linked to the provider training specific page. So you're not going to have to navigate yourself to where the calendar lies. But what we're going to want you to do, and I believe it's on the next slide, is explore the calendar. And so go ahead and just take a few minutes. I think we're giving you about 5 minutes to just move along in the calendar. click on some events and see the titles and see if there's anything interesting. Better yet, click on some dates and say, my organization's hosting a training and it's not on here. Perhaps I should let the MHN know and we can be a vessel of support for you there. And then beyond just kind of exploring, there's one event we want you to try and find, so that way it helps you navigate the system. The topic is conflict resolution with power and privilege in mind. And if you find this training opportunity that's on the calendar, please put the date, the month, and date in the chat to let us know that you were able to click through the handful of trainings that we actually have on that calendar and that you were able to find it. All right, so we'll give folks just a few minutes. Lisa, did I leave any important information out about the calendar?
I don't think so. This is a game of hide and seek. So we started, our day together thinking about candy, and now we're playing a children's game. This is hide and seek. We want you guys to use that link and try and find this particular training. And then as soon as you find it, give us the date. Say it's, March 1st, 2021, and then throw that bad boy in the chat. And then if you guys do that and you still have a little bit of time, just explore the other areas of the calendar and see if there's anything that interests you. So with that, we will give you space and time to do that.
Lisa, you're on mute.
Oh, I was just saying people must still be searching because nobody, oh, we have a winner.
It was tricky. We tried to trip you up. It was in a different month altogether. Good job. Yes. So are folks still needing some time to navigate the calendar, or can we go ahead and get started with our next activity? It's 2 activities in a row. We want to engage you. All right. So I think we can move on, Lisa. And what we're going to do is actually put you into some breakout rooms. We want you as the network. I think often Lisa and I are talking at you, but we know one of the biggest benefits of this work is that you get to connect with one another. And so we're going to put you in a breakout room with either one other participant today or maybe 2. We're going to give you a few minutes to talk about the questions that are on the slide right now, and I can put those in the chat for you so that way you'll be able to recall them in your breakout. But what event already listed on the calendar caught your eye? Maybe it's the one that we prompted you with because it caught my eye. Oh, what a great event that people should go to. The next is, will you access the events calendar to identify upcoming events moving forward? Is this a good resource for you? And I want to put a caveat on that this resource is only as good as it's utilized by members. So we have to receive information for it to be valuable, and then it has to be valuable if folks are accessing it. So it's really incumbent on the membership to do so. And then the last one is, do you envision your organization sharing training space with other network members that could be posted on the website? So do you yourself see your organization saying, yes, we'd love to put information on this calendar, not just having our employees go onto the calendar to seek out different trainings. We actually want to promote trainings through this resource. So with that, I'm going to open up breakout rooms. Lisa, don't join, and we'll be back in just a few minutes, okay?
Everyone's there? Yeah?
Yeah, but there is one. Okay, everyone is in there. I'm gonna. I wonder if there are folks, Lisa, who registered who weren't able to participate today that we could reach out to and just ask like, hey, is this a good time, or is this a barrier? Because it's right at the lunch hour. I can see folks having difficulty attending something.
Yeah, we tried to do it on the lunch hour thinking that it would be most convenient because people could
Mhm.
watch and eat and whatnot. But yeah, I think that there's value in that.
Folks are wrapping up their conversations.
I also wonder if once people start knowing that the recording is going to be available, if we'll get less participation.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
we'll think about that as well. Welcome back. So I'm hoping that you guys were able to have some good discussion. So as is par for the course when it comes to the work that we do with you guys, we are going to issue a poll. We want to know if you think your organization would be open to sharing training opportunities to the larger MHN membership. So Miss Katie, will you launch that poll for us?
All right, the poll is open. So there are three options. One is yes, one is no, and then one is possibly. Like I may not know if that's within our organization's scope, but I can ask. And I'll let you know we're really good at following up. So if you need support asking, we can definitely support you with that. All right, so we've got 75% votes in. Lisa, do you want to leave it open for about 5 more seconds?
Yeah.
All right, we have one possibly. Great. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it and I can share with you the results. Overwhelmingly, yes.
Wonderful. Well, we will definitely be reaching out to you guys about gathering that information as we move forward. So the other thing that we wanted to ask you guys to do is if you found something on the calendar that you thought was a really interesting, intriguing, can you throw that in the chat? That'll help us understand kind of what resonated with you guys and what we should be seeking out more often. So is there anything that you guys found that you said, ooh, that sounds good. I think I want to do that. Nurturing fathers. Thanks, Lori. Katie did a pretty good job of pitching that. Huh. Anything else that you guys thought, oh, that looks interesting? The conflict class sounded interesting. Me too. Conflict resolution with power and privilege in mind. Yeah. And that's great because that's in line with the trainings that were our focus. So very good. Conflict resolution. Looks like that particular resource got a lot of likes, Katie. Good job on that one. We chose that one as our hide and seek because we also felt like that was a really interesting training. So we're all in the same mindset here today. All right. So with that, Katie, do you want to share? So this is how we typically are collecting this information. Share with folks what we learned at our last webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and a couple of you were on the last webinar, so this feedback shouldn't be new to you. But really, it was folks said we'd prefer to receive prompts during those weekly emails of, hey, if you have a training coming up, if you have an event coming up, just email us back and we can put it on the website. And that's really how the current calendar has been populated. The next piece, which wasn't available during our last webinar, but is now, is that you go to the website, you go to the calendar, and you submit a request on the calendar itself. And that is like the most efficient, optimal way to do it. We really don't want to have folks rely on a single source. We want to give you options, whatever's easiest for you. You can go ahead, Lisa's modeling it right now, and go ahead and do that if you're already on the website. But if you just open up that weekly email and it's front of mind, you have an event you need us to promote on your behalf, just quickly reply and we can go ahead and do that for you.
Thank you. Katie? Okay, so then the last thing that we want to ask you guys before we move on to the next section is just how do you think, do you guys have any ideas about how we can create awareness of that calendar function on the website and then buy-in for folks to actually not only use it, but also to contribute to it? So if you guys have any ideas that you'd like to share with us about how we can do that effectively, please unmute yourself and share it with us now.
Well, I'm going to send a message to all of my hospitals that offer childbirth classes, breastfeeding classes, parenting classes, to list them here. And also if they offer any classes to professionals. But I was hoping there would be a search area on it. Like I was going to find that conflict class real quick because I was just going to type in conflict and do a search, but there wasn't any. But that might be very difficult to do.
Yeah, I have to think through the logistics of it. I don't know if we have the technology that would support that. I know
Right.
building it out for the services was quite a heavy lift. But I appreciate the feedback. Let us explore that and see if there is any way for us to do that.
Okay.
I wonder too, Lisa, and Pat, maybe you have an idea on this. Maybe we could have multiple ways to display the information. So maybe it's the calendar that's really visual, and then below it is just a list with the dates and times and the title.
Somebody mentioned they would like that in my breakout group.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, that's very good information. Thank you guys for that.
We're always asking for more, aren't we?
We're always asking the question of how can we be of service to you guys.
The website is awesome.
Well, good. We're glad that it's useful. Thank you, Pat. I think you're our biggest cheerleader when it comes to the website, so I really appreciate it.
It's really good.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go on to the last area. So we've kind of hit 2 of our 3 objectives, right? We've given you guys the resource, the compendium of trainers in Southern California. We have shown you how you can access information on the website about trainings that are being hosted by other MHN partnerships. You've also seen where you can actually contribute and be a contributor to that and share with us that information moving forward. So then the third one really has to do with us actually providing you guys with an annual training on each one of these 3 topics. So I'm going to remind you guys of who we have on our list, right? So we have now a total of 20. We have 20 resources now. We were able, while you guys were in your breakout rooms, to include Nakia Fields as an option. So what Katie is going to do is that she is going to put another poll on your screen. You will see it shortly. And we want you guys to identify who are the folks that you would put on the top of your list. Like if you were in charge of scheduling and coordinating these trainings, what are the top 3 trainers that you would recommend? And the way that we've structured this, because there are so many options, we have 20, we can't, Zoom doesn't give us an option to put all 20. So it's broken out. When you see the poll, there will be 2 separate questions. The instructions that I'm going to give you is just choose 3 between the 2 questions. So you'll click on a total of 3 that cross over the 2 questions. Perfect. Thank you, Katie, for putting that up.
Yeah, so just take a moment, scroll through before selecting anything. It'll give folks a lot longer to complete this. And then between the 2 questions, select 3. Folks are being like uber thoughtful with this. So I really like it. We're going to get some good suggestions.
So I think you have the power to see behind the curtain, Katie. So I'm gonna let you say when we're closing this survey, because I don't know the response rate just yet.
I have all the power. Yes, we only have 3 people because it's a long, long list. You
I
have to be
know.
really thoughtful. And so our partners here today are doing just that. So I'm just going to give folks a bit longer. Pat has a great comment. These resources, Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, these trainings are free because they're put on by the Maternal Health Network.
They
And
will
so, yeah, whoever we would select, it would be open. There would be no cost for the training.
And I think in regards to the second part of her question, does it comply with SB 464? We haven't actually scheduled them, but what I'm hearing or what I'm inferring from this is that it should comply with SB 464. Yeah, Pat?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm saying.
I know some of them do, like Diversity Science and March of Dimes, but I don't know about the others.
Mm-hmm. That's something we can ask upon engagement with folks, certainly.
Right.
As folks finish up too, we have just a few more folks answering the poll. Lori put out something great, and she knows this is something we do, which is we can certainly create an email template, send it to folks, and then you can engage partners in posting events on the site. And what we'll do is we'll just have the link directly to that portion of the website, and then they can fill out that form with ease. All right, so I think I'm going to end the poll and share the results. It looks like no surprise.
I know.
Dr. Petra is a big winner, and you know what? I thought so too. I was just so inspired by her. Asen, your comment is really well noted that we don't know all of these people. We haven't heard all of them speak. We wanted to just kind of get a sense of if you had a preference. If you said, oh, I've heard them speak, they're super effective, and they're in the community perhaps. So I think that that's really good and fair. And we just wanted to see if anyone kind of came to the top of your list. So with that, I'll hand it back to you, Lisa.
Well, and with that, we're almost done, right? So we've given you guys the information. Now, one thing that I didn't show you, but I will as we close, because I think it's so cool. If you go to the website now and you scroll down, oh, provider resources.
I think it's in
provider training.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the coaching, Katie. You go to provider trainings and you scroll past the calendar, you will see that we are now posting the videos of the webinars that we are hosting. So for instance, the website tutorial webinar, if you didn't have a chance to join us on that, but you're interested in checking it out, you'll be able to come here and find that webinar on the MHN website. And so this will be posted as well here shortly. So that's just the one last gift that I have to offer you guys. We are going to, as we do with all of our activities, ask you to evaluate how useful this webinar was for you. And part of that is not just identifying what worked, but also identifying like, how could we improve our practice moving forward? So one of the things that came up for me and Katie that we chatted briefly about during your breakout was we had 30 people register for today and only about 9 people showed up. So we were thinking, you know, should we potentially like have a start time of 12:15, which would allow folks to kind of get their lunch, settle in, and then join us? Or should we potentially reach out to the folks who registered but ultimately couldn't participate and just ask, hey, what are the barriers to participation so that we can, you know, mitigate whatever those are if it's within our control? So please feel free to use the evaluation tool to not only tell us what we did well and what we should continue to do, but also how we could improve our practice moving forward. We're always looking for that constructive criticism. So with that, I think that Katie put the link to the evaluation in the chat. We will leave that open, but I would like to thank each one of you for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you again next month.